All right, y'all, let's go from this child to this. Yes, get into the makeup, get into the hair. But today we're doing a U-part wig, the Ivy wig. Yes, if you know, back in the day, Ivy used to give us all the wig tips for the flip over method, y'all. So here we got a extra large dome cap that I got from the beauty supply store, and I like to just pin it down so when I'm sewing and stuff like that, everything is in place and so we can get the job done for real. So this is some old hair, y'all. So I decided to do a quick weave. I did my first quick weave the other day, and I loved it so much. I was like, you know what? I need to make sure I make me a wig. So here we are making a wig. First, I would like to tell you guys, when you're sewing, especially on a dome cap, do not go through the elastic part of the cap around the perimeter. Pierce the skin of the cap and sew on that part. Do not go all the way through. And the reason for that is because you do not want to restrict the elastane or the elasticity of the cap when you put it on your head. So sometimes, like especially me back in the day when I used to make wigs and I will sew on that part, the wig would be so tight and I'm like, ugh, I just put all this work in, I can't even wear my wig because it's so tight on my head because I sewed on the elastic part. So make sure you just pierce the skin around the perimeter of the cap so you can wear your wig and it can stretch as much as possible when you put it on your head, okay? So that's the number one tip. But as you know, I'm gonna let you guys just go ahead and watch. Remember, when you're sewing, you are always putting the needle in between the thread, okay? So you put it in and you make sure the needle is in between because you want to make a kind of like a lock. Basically, you're locking the string in, and when you don't do it, you'll see how you're like, oh, I don't think it's on there good enough. So make sure you always put the needle in between the string no matter how you're sewing, okay? All right, I'll be back soon. Okay, so right here, these are just some strips that I cut for the flip over method when I made the wig. Well, not make the wig, but when I did my quick weave. And so basically, what I'm doing is just mapping out the space um, of where I would like this part of the wig to go, the flip over part of the wig to go. So I'm just mapping it out. But as you guys know, that you probably won't have this already. So what you will do is literally go from temple to temple and create a nice box. I would say at least like an inch and 3/4 or something of space, and create a nice rectangle so you can put those strips in that rectangle space. So this is something that will help you guys flip over from the left to the right, which I love with the Ivy way. But yeah. Okay, so here we are finally at the top of the wig, you guys. And as you can see, we are doing a U shape at the top because we want to go ahead and close her right on up. And of course, we're using our pins to make sure everything is in place so we can go ahead and sew efficiently and faster, right? So I'm going to go ahead and cut that extra off right here. Snip, snip. Bam. And then we're going to get back to sewing. All right, let's close this baby up. I think I put like one more track to close up that the U part of the wig. So go ahead and make it as small as this, and then we're gonna go ahead and just take strips. We measure from side to side, take the strips and go ahead and sew her down. Y'all, I promise you, you will not be able to see none of the tracks with this method at all. Everything will be flawless, seamless. I will say, like for me, I was kind of doing bigger gaps when I was sewing, so don't be like me, do smaller sewing. I just was trying to hurry up, y'all. I was doing this at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So yes, go ahead and make just smaller, just like this. Instead of doing big gaps, just do it right next to the ones you just sewed. Bam. Just so the tracks won't buckle up and everything will be flat and seamless. But since I had curly hair, I was just like, I'm not worried about it. But don't be like me, you guys. Don't be like me. So basically, we're just going to keep doing this all the way till we get to that line that we had drew with our white pencil. So you guys, we are finally here. We are sewing down our first strip. I'm definitely going to show you guys. I'm gonna do a close-up of this, but I just want to show you guys from a distance of what we are doing. So we basically are sewing these strips vertically. Yes, vertically. And the tip for this is, and this is what Ivy said in her video, is make sure each one of these layers are extremely close to the previous layer. Like, you want to make sure that everything is extremely close because you do not want any gaps. You want everything to be seamless. So when you do your flip over with your hair out in the front, you can't clock it, sis. You can't clock it. So make sure everything is super, super, super close when you sew next to each other. And also to go in the same direction. So for me, I know what side I like to flip the most. So I made sure to start on that side. So when I flip, I can have that volume. So let's get into it. By the way, guys, how I literally wrap the string around the needle like that is to create a knot so everything can stay tight to the wig. It's basically just sealing it in. But as you can see right here, we're going up real close on what I was doing. I clipped, measure, clip, start to sew. And make sure again to make sure your pieces are extremely close to the last piece, okay? So y'all, there you go. Be very proud of yourself. You just made you a flip over wig, baby. Okay, so let's get into the clips. Now, we are definitely going to need something to make sure this wig is on and it ain't coming out when we doing our twerking and jerking and cooking and slinging and, all the things that we do, okay? So these right here, I like to put at the perimeter of the head. So basically like the front, the temple area, the side. I only did 3. You can put more. My hair is a lot thicker, so I'm not really worried too much about like tension and stuff like that. So I just put 3 on there. And for me, it's just easier for me to pop on and pop off. And basically you just sew it on to your cap. Now you're not going all the way through the elastic. Remember, we're not going through the elastic at all ever, but we're just piercing the skin of it all. And these are a little hard, I'm not gonna lie, especially with a weave needle, but you can still get the job done. Now when we go to the actual clip in the back of our head, which you don't actually have to use, you can still use these type of combs, but it's just all to your preference and how sensitive your head is. Like, you know your head better than anybody know. So if you know these things irritate your head and stuff like that, just use one or the other, okay? But yeah, so we're gonna do 3 of those and then we're gonna come back and do the clip. Now for the clip part, I will highly suggest to not use a needle thread. Like, as convenient as it can be, these holes that I'm sewing in are very, very tiny. And I actually broke one of my sewing needles with that, which made me like, ugh, why? So I would say use like a clothing sewing needle for this. Also, too, these clips, I don't know if you can see, but it has like those little pointy things on the side. Clip them off, y'all. Clip them off. Okay, because it will literally snag your hair and stuff when you're trying to put your wig on. So clip them things off with like some tweezers or something. But see, as you can see here, it is so hard to get through. So make sure you use a sewing needle, as in for your closed straight ones, because they're way more slimmer and they can get through. It might be a little bit hard on your fingers because you're going through the elastic and the weave. This is like the only time you'll probably go through both. But yeah, that's it. That's the final clip, y'all. And I make sure I wash everything, and that's just how everything looks after we are done. And bam. Now, this is only just part one. The next part will be us styling and doing wand curls and stuff so we can look like this and just show like all the different ways that you can wear your hair. You can flip it left to right, front to back, everywhere, okay?